2023 was the worst year in music recently, and not because of the albums that came out and the artists that are up and coming this year. More so for myself, in that this year is definitely the year I've listened to the least amount of music, kept up with the least amount of up and coming artists, and I have just been more detached than ever than the music in the music scene. And I want to change that. And with 2024 here now, I wanted to get back into content creation because I was just recalling the days of when I made review videos back in my college days. And that was just a prime time in my life of feeling more love for just the arts and music and content creation in general. But I wanted to just feed back into that because I think the video and the process of making these just holds myself accountable to some degree to just keep up with things if I'm going to make something new. And I'm just more excited to show off music that I love and then new up and comers that maybe you don't know about as often unless someone kind of tells you. Not that I'm like, that hipster guy putting on to people to all new fresh music and stuff, but I wanted to start making videos again and getting more into that culture and cycle of things. And why not start with appreciating everything that came out in 2023? And I will say it is a weaker year in music, too, in my humble opinion, from 2023. I think there was a lot of artists that I love in general that made good music, good albums, that though a lot of the albums they made didn't quite ever like top what they've done previously. And that's how I generally consider a weaker year, is like a lot of just those artists don't really top themselves to any degree. Not that I'm always expecting that, but it's always nice when you have like a top 5 or top 10 where you're just like, that's the artist's best thing they ever made. That's the best thing they ever made, and stuff like that. Well, some of these is the best stuff they ever made because it's their first album. But anyways, I have a top 25 for you, and that's kind of bullshit in general because I have a top 50, but 25 of them will be honorable mentions. And they're honorable mentions because I couldn't quite fit them into a top 25. I maybe didn't give them enough time throughout the year. Even if I had a top 50 and I listened to more music, they might have not even fallen into that spot. And I just wanted to give them more a shout out and appreciation, and just that I listen to the music and appreciate what they're doing and looking forward to next. In years past, I've been more controlling and been more concrete in where I put something in my list. But then even now I look back on those lists, I'm like, yeah, this could move here, this could move here. All lists are movable, malleable with age and time and just different appreciation for certain aspects of music and certain genres. So again, don't take anything here absolute. Again, this is just a video to appreciate music from last year and get me rolling on into 2024 with some content. So let's go. And we will start with Nation of Languages' Strange Disciple. This is a fun synth duo pop group out of New York. I saw them live at Pitchfork Fest this year. I'll just say the singles they had on this record were just total bops. I love some bright, colored, simple synth pop music when I can. I'm rocking a Beach House shirt. Let's go. But I'll say some of the in-between songs on the track list didn't quite capture my attention as much, but still a great project. I look forward to what they do next. Next, we have Paranols After the Magic, some melodic, climactic music that fits in that shoegazy noise wall kind of area. I think with more time, I would have appreciated this record, but I only gave it like a 2 or 3 listens. But some of these melodic riffs and points of tension are really spark some moments of beauty. After that, we got Erotic Probiotic 2 by Nourished by Time, one of the hottest up and coming artists that I also saw at Pitchfork Fest and listened to this record before. There's just some catchy, smooth R&B dancey songs on here. I think the mixing could use a little work. There's just so much of the blueprints that are here for Nourished by Time to, I believe, come back with just an even bigger and better record. Up next is I Inside, The Old Year Dying. This is actually one of the latest projects I've listened to that I will mention in this video by PJ Harvey. It just kind of escaped me. And this is one of the more enigmatic, cool, poetic, I think, projects PJ Harvey has made in quite a while. One of my favorites, I want to say. I have it on honorable mentions because I just haven't had enough time to listen to it, appreciate it all. I have no idea what the hell any of it's about, but it's just so cool and different. She comes in with these different vocal flavors. At one point, I thought she was Neil Young on the mic, and I don't know. It's an interesting, different step for PJ Harvey. Definitely appreciate this project, and I don't hear it talked about that much. Up next, we have a cool singer-songwriter album. I believe that was put on to this by Not Real Music, a friend of mine in the music community, and that is Nico Paulo's self-titled record. Just some nice, gentle, sweet, classic singer-songwriter stuff. I don't know what else to say. Just hits the soul right where you need to in certain moments. Again, I think the album overall is not like my favorite thing in the world, but the energy that has just come off on this thing and some of the songwriting elements are super strong. Following that, we got Wednesday with Rat Saw God. I think a lot of people just understand this album as just one of the top indie rock projects of the year. There are some songs that really hit me in the soul. It's lost some flavor and traction for me over time as I got into new projects, but still appreciate this record and definitely have been keeping up with Wednesday over time. And I think they're going to just continue to have this kind of trajectory. And up next is a man that shouldn't need any introduction. It's your boy, Vale Smith with Yo. What's up? This guy, super cool. Love this dude. Know him from the music community. He has just been pounding it year after year lately and already released a project early in 2024, a collab project. And man, I just feel like his albums just continue to get better and better. And with Yo, I would say it's a little lengthy for my personal taste when it comes to like future bass, like glitchy, wonky kind of electronic music. But he always just has a palette of just flavorful, fun tunes. Everything has a little different kind of twinkle of a taste here and there. I don't know what I'm talking about. And yeah, love Vale Smith. Check out this record if you haven't checked out his previous projects. And I know this guy's going to continue. Again, another dude, his trajectory is like this. And then up next, we have one of the cutest little indie bedroom projects in the world. I don't know if it's completely just a duo here, but Mind Palace Music by the band or group and it's just simple, straight to the point, not so serious bedroom indie music. That's just fun and flavorful, and I don't know. It's something about this just hits the right spots in my heart. Next is one of the projects that was closer to making on the list. That is Home Is Where with The Wailer. Just one of the best alternative projects of the year. I don't know if it was that short, honestly, but it always feels short when I listen to it. I love the stringy vocals that some people I could see having a disdain for on a lot of alternative projects in general, but just some of the content as well and just some of the vibes kind of bring me back to a neutral Milk Hotel kind of area, or just points that just have a little mimicry there for me personally, not like the music in its totality, just little brief moments. But yeah, this is just a solid project I would recommend to anyone. It has a whale on it. God damn it, listen to it. Another one that was super close to making it was 3D Country by Geese. This is a super fun project. I think it's a project where collectively as a whole it didn't do as much for me than like certain parts of it, but just the energy and the creative enthusiasm, the killer vocals. It reminds me as if like Julian Casablancas like took like a rootsier, more dynamic route that like hit different highs and lows. I mean, this is like country, rock, indie, roots. I don't know. It's just a ball of a lot of different things, and there's a lot of hard-hitting riffs, a lot of long band jammy kind of sequencing. If there's one thing else I would say about this album is that this album makes me want to see this band live a lot, and it was super close to making it. The following is quite heartbreaking for me to say, but Julie Burns, The Greater Wings, did not make my list. I'm a little bit of a Julie Burns stan here and there. I just think she has one of the most delicate, delightful sense of vocals and just free-flowing picking style and writing style that really hits good and like this spacious reverb kind of place. And for me, I think this album just felt a little samey to me than her last project. Like certain songs just made me think of songs on the past record, and I love that record a lot, so it makes me kind of want to listen to that. There are still great songs on here, but in the totality, yeah, I just felt a little too similar. One I was also a little disappointed in not making it was Amaray's Fountain Baby. I think it was an EP she dropped earlier some years before. I love her high-pitched kind of squeaky vocals on like these Afro, like smooth Afro beat, like sequencing that is super hypnotic and just fun as well. Like I don't think she also takes herself too seriously. It's just having a good time here, and I just love the energy that is surrounding her. I wish some tracks here and there again are just a little more stronger. This one was super close to also making it, but this is a super fun project if you're into poppy R&B, again Afro beats, and even some house culture too. Check out this thing. Up next is a group and album I haven't heard many people talk about this year, and that is Proto Martyrs for Formal Growth in the Desert. That might be because Proto Martyr kind of fits this role of mature post-punk that maybe their sound is a little stagnant, and they've been releasing mostly every year it seems, and so maybe people are a little tired of it. I get those feelings, I get those concerns. I felt that a little, that's why it's on my honorable mentions, but still a great solid group of trackings and just songs that I can kick back and really enjoy, and a lot of fun tunes on here as well. And it was kind of great for me diving into the lyrics on this one, and I'm just a sucker for some post-punk here and there, so make a decent post-punk record. It'll probably make my honorable mentions anyways, it doesn't matter. This is one that hurts. This is one that actually hurts. Carly Rae Jepsen's The Loveliest Time. When I first listened to it, I didn't think this would be like my top on my top list of albums, honestly, but it's so fun. Carly Rae Jepsen is just so goddamn fun and should be way more pronounced like mainstream pop artist. Something about her, I don't know, has just avoided that limelight in general ever since like the Carly Me Maybe days. But like ever since Emotion, I mean, what a kick-ass right. Like this album to me isn't like it doesn't live up to Emotion, but man, they're just some solid, just happy-go-lucky, who gives a shit type of like writing. Maybe kind of lackluster here and there, but it's so Carly, it's so fun. Whoever she works with, she just makes it fit her mold, and a lot of fun flavors on here. Psychedelic switch, like come on man, come on, and damn, they just keep coming with Heartbreak. Squids, Oh Monolith did not make my top 25. If you know anything about me, I love post-punk, and I love Squid, and I love that first project. One of my favorites of that year, Narrator, was like my favorite song of that year. Just what a great climactic track that is. And I like a lot of songs on this project. I think there's only 8 songs, so not that many, but there's just moments and energy the album that felt a little meek in comparison, but I would still recommend this for projects of this 2023. Definitely still recommending this. Definitely want to get people still on the Squid train, and definitely would love to see them play this album live. So there you go. Shout out to Squid. Following up is Midair by Romy. Probably one of the weaker honorable mentions, honestly. I just thought some of these tracks were kind of fun, fit that like 90s, 2000s clubby, housey vibes. And Romy feels a little interchangeable. She works with, I believe, Fred again on a lot of these tracks, and Fred again might be the reason this kind of stands out a bit, but still fun. Still fun. I put it here. And you know what else is fun? DJ Sabrina, the Teenage DJ's Destiny. Simply not on here because I don't think I have 3 hours to dedicate to fully analyzing and appreciating this record. And just like her last one, super lengthy, super fun, pristine, in this weird, like iconic, like French New Disco as like creative scenery where I just kind of vision like sparkly Twilight cartoon characters for some reason, or like retro video games, just kind of similar to like the art and the style, very descriptive almost of like a lot of the music and just that imagery, and super fun. Again, I just don't think I have the time to fully appreciate this thing, but pull out any track, you have yourself a good time. One of the best samplers in the game, kind of, feeling some of the consequences of that now with some clearing of the rights, but still, if you haven't heard of DJ Sabrina, got to. You may not fall in love, but you're going to find some moments of fun. This one's more of an appreciation shout out with Mitski, The Land is Inhospitable, and so are we. What a great title. Mitski really caught my attention in love with like Puberty 2, everything she did before that, harsh, around the edges feel, the angst in her songwriting, and she's fallen off that completely. To Be the Cowboy was decent, but not not necessarily my thing. And then Laurel Halo was like, I don't want more of that. And this was more in the right direction. I know I think, lives in Nashville a bit now, and has just fallen into this more folky, cowboyish vibes. But if that's the thing's direction, that's cool. That's cool. I just hope, I just hope she goes in the right direction for my taste personally. And if one day, I know it's probably hard to return back to that angsty time period, because that was probably a lot of time of struggle for her that maybe she can't relate to as much now, or doesn't want to really recall back on emotionally. If she just wants to go to that sound, talk about other things, that'd be fun too. But another shout out pick, let's go Mary Lattimore, one of the best harpists in the goddamn game. Every track brings this like tingly, fictitious feeling in my bones, and I just want to be absorbed by everything that her projects really encapsulate. And this one was probably one of the weaker ones. I think there's like 2 or 3 that really stand out with, and I really have been putting on repeat. But I just remember some of her previous projects really had more of my attention the whole way around. Still love Mary Lattimore, and God, I'm never not asking for a Mary Lattimore album. So keep dropping, girl. Keep dropping. This might be a surprise for some, or not. I have no idea what people think of me. But JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown's Scaring the Hoes. This one's more of just an appreciative shout out that these two got on a record together and made a whole damn kind of funny project. It's pretty funny. It's very rough around the edges, in my opinion, though. And some of the mixing, I know they fixed the mixing at some point, but some of the mixing still feels off. I feel like Danny's a bit weakened on this project. I think some of the lyrical content and flows, kind of just the humor just isn't like as there for me as like they've had on their solo projects. But what more else can you say? Like Danny Brown, one of the best rappers in the last decade. JPEG Mafia, one of the best rappers, producers in the past decade. They hopped on a project. They had some fun together, made some decent music, and I just wanted to give a shout out. Wasn't necessarily my favorite thing in the world, but anyone should try this thing if they're looking for some different flavors in the hip hop direction. And maybe tie for the cutest project of the year, it's Feeble Little Horse with Girl with Fish. Just a fun, short, very melodically just satisfying project a lot of the time. It's just cute little moments, and it's just fun, like a DIY kind of standard guitar focused project, and it's just fun. Another one I really wanted to love, and that's Radical Romantics by Fever Ray, art pop legend. It's kind of a dark, eerie, but still poppy record, and it kind of follows themes of love for body, I think, in general, and just weird abstract ideas around that. And I don't know, there was a couple of tracks on here that just hit me so hard, and would be on my favorite songs of the year list. The whole thing, again, it's another case of the whole thing doesn't fully come together, but I love the idea of just this project in general and kind of the work behind it, the atmosphere. So shout out Fever Ray. This one might give me some haters. That is Pink Panthers with Heaven Knows. I'll simply say this. I liked a lot of this music. I like Pink Panther, especially when these collab singles she's worked with in the past. Some goddamn bangers she's been a part of. I will say, as much as I like this project, it's a little samey. It's a little samey from front to back. And so I probably couldn't, put it on the actual list. This one's for all the shoegaze fans that like to listen to music where they don't know what the hell is being said half the time, and that is A Slow Dive with Everything Is Alive. Everything is alive. This one was just easy to listen to for me. It was fun to kind of follow along to. Really enjoyed the singles too. And I'm not even the biggest Slow Dive fan, so this one's a little more of just the appreciative side. In totality, again, didn't really, blow me away, but just fun, easy, simple, melodic shoegaze, baby. And finally, to kill this stupidly long, lengthy honorable mentions list is Japanese House with In the End, It Always Does. A group or artist that feels like just a soft rock version of like the 1975 to a degree. Simple, like small moments of just like production manipulation with still just like these fun guitar melodies that just fit in that 1975 realm. A lot of songs about like love, lust, longing that hit the right spot. I forget the singer's name, and I remember one song was just advertised on like Instagram Reels on like the rollout 50 million times, but it never annoyed me because I loved the song. So yeah, shout out to them. And dear God, we finally made it to the top 25, and kicking things off is Greg Mendez with his self-titled project, falling right off the branch of like an Alex G comes in with a very earnest singer-songwriting project with some simple, short, good tunes. It's not an album you would have to think much about to appreciate at all. Just some good writing, good acoustic guitar, good fun. And, I'm like an Alex G stan, and anything that kind of revolves around that world that, remotely just has good writing behind it, I can get behind. And this is something I've just really enjoyed. I love a lot of the tunes, and they've been calling back to me over just all the months after I listened to it originally in 2023. And then an album that's maybe a little bit different from your acoustic songwriter stuff, we got I've Seen a Way by Mandy, Indiana. Sounds nothing like I'm talking about it now. This is an album that I just knew nothing about. I believe this is like the debut of like an English French band, and I mean, if you know nothing about the band, just listen to this album. Just stop. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Listen to this album. It is noisy. It's a bit noisy, bit chaotic. Just the environment, the different kind of. It sounds like we're just in like a factory, slapping different things while there's like house music playing as well. It's like dancey, it's hypnotic, it's psychedelic. It's just different. Every song has like this different kind of vibe and like tension to it. And I have no idea what the hell is going on. I even took French and don't remember, like, I still don't understand lyrics because I'm terrible with language. But I love the freshness. This album just felt fresh to me in its totality of like a new project by a new group, and I'm ecstatic to see what they do next. Really enjoyed this project. If you're looking for something different, something new, something noisy, Mandy, Indiana. If you want to talk about more noise, and if you want to talk about more post-punk, I know you do, we got Dog's Body by Model Actress. Now just imagine your new favorite post-punk band comes through, and then you're like, that could be a bit dancier. That could be a bit dancier, couldn't it? That's what this is. This is just fun, like post-punk mix with like some harsher house, and it's like dark rhythms, baby. Dark, rhythmic, fun. Imagine that cover, I think, speaks to it in an abstract language, and this is just like the new band to keep your ears on as well. Thoroughly enjoyed this project all the way through. Now, what would be your music, or what would be a list or without a surprise to the self? And that involves Lori McKenna's 1988. This is some country, and this was, again, I think, recommended to me from Not Real Music after I kind of, was like, country, that stuff, not to me. I like some country music, but I'm not necessarily, around it a lot. But when it's kind of soft like this, when it just hits the right spot where I'm like, I love my friends and family, and dear God, I hope they love me too, and we all just live together happily, I cry a little bit inside, and this is the way this album made me feel. It also just is a very mature project. Lori McKenna, I know nothing about her. I think she's like in her 40s or 50s or something like that, but it's mature country that just hits that family in the feels stuff, and just good songwriting. That's all I ask for in any genre. Just good songwriting, and I don't care if it's country, it still can be fucking great. And I loved a lot of songs on here, and I found myself for like a month just coming back to this record, surprisingly. So I'm like, damn, man, maybe I do need to have some kids and keep them by my side and just tell them I love them. That's just the vibes. This is the vibes here. And yeah, listen to this if you don't listen to much country. This is probably the only country I actually following up is Western Come by Corey Hansen, and that could get a little country in it. Nah, it's not really, but it's got more of that cowboy, rootsy Western feel to it. Corey Hansen, singer of the band Wand, a band that not many people, I think that I know at least, like catch up with or like or talk about. but I really appreciated a lot of Juan projects in the past. And Corey Hansen just doing his own thing here on a project called Western Come. I think that was accidentally titled Western Come somehow. Is a very interesting story just by itself there. But man, this is just fun, rough, like jammy, like a lot of just solid, hard hitting guitar riffs and songs that last like 6 minutes or so that just have some interesting sequence to them. It can feel a little samey like once you get to the back end, but it's still so fun. And there's like just moments of just surprise and climactic intrigue. I've also generally enjoyed Corey's vocals and his writing. Very, very solid stuff. And the way he coasts along his own like riffs and sound is just, it feels effortless to me. This is one I don't think will be talked about that much, but yeah, check out this thing if you want some heavy like guitar singer songwriter stuff that kind of fits that like down south feel a little bit. This one might be a little more for me. I haven't heard it talked about much, and it's a little interesting. Blonde Redhead, a band I knew nothing about. This is like a comeback project for them in the year 2023. Album Sit Down for Dinner. Now look at that strawberry. How does that make you feel? What do you think about like this? The album feels to me what this strawberry is. Very, very pastel-y. I almost feel like I'm gonna walk into something a little bit psychedelic, and just because it starts with an S in strawberry, you know it's gonna be shoegazy as well. This is like delicate, light shoegaze over just like these springtime colors and sound, and just solid writing that kind of feels essence of some 70 or 60, 70 stuff, almost Sunshine a little. When I listen to this project, I feel like I'm dipping my toes in kind of a deeper pocket of nostalgia at points, recounting specific moments of my life. And when an album does that to you, you know it's generally going to stick around for the best. And some great vocals all around. Again, just like the springtime hypnotic color feel to it also just draws me in. There's some mystery vibes in here. I don't think there's actually much mystery, but I like to think there is. And what would be a list of mine? We didn't have some more art pop or like chamber music on here, some folky sounds, and then thank God we got Suzanne Surfer here with, I believe it's Bloomy. This is an artist I've loved for quite a while, and in general, I love this style of kind of open space, different, contemporary art folk style of stuff. This one makes me think of like family. Again, this one makes me think of nature, cool like nature sounds thrown in the production. A lot of songs that swell with just beauty behind it all. Very just calm, just easy to absorb project too. I think this makes me think of spring. Like I'm just outside and just laying down and I'm listening to Bloomy, and then I'm just loving life. And another artist that is just super easy to love, that is the man Sufjan Stevens with the album Javelin. Now, if you know how this album was created and the meaning behind it all, I mean, that could bring someone to tears alone. You know, Sufjan Stevens had someone he deeply loved romantically, pass away, too soon. And I mean, the lyrical description of a javelin in the context of that alone and with the title just like hits a point in my heart. And just the level of sincerity, the level of meaning, the level of instrumentation of like a Sufjan, like if you've heard of music in his past and how he can get a group together to really just swell an idea, a concept, just music in general on a certain track that will really just put you in the feels and make you feel like you're surrounded by love and heartache and a lot of solid just songs on here. Like Sufjan's probably one of the more consistent just singer-songwriters in general. It doesn't really step on glass often, and it's just super easy to love the man, super easy to love all he's done, and really easy to appreciate and love a lot of what Javelin does. Now, I'll be one to admit straight up that 2023 was a year where I was a little more detached from a genre like hip-hop more than ever, but one project to slip through the cracks and really get my attention right away and on first listen was McKinley Dixon with Beloved Paradise Jazz. The instrumentation back in this thing, so beautiful from each track and carries with it a certain type of weight, complementing the insightful, poetic, and just personally dense nature of what McKinley Dixon does on this project. I wanted to learn more about him, more about his qualms, just in his environment. Even the opening monologue that sets the tone of this thing really grabs your ears and attention, and I just want to hear what he's saying. I want to follow the momentum of this project while, absorbing all the cool sounds that really surround it. And this was just one of those, I think, concept projects, or just as a collective, as a record, was super cool to come back to all the time. All right, did anything change? Anything change too much? My battery died on my camera, and I'm back here several hours later, and I kind of want to just steamroll through this because it is now late in the night. So I believe at number 16, if this is wrong, I'll put another number up here. We got A Noni with My Back Was a Bridge for You to Cross. I'll say this is one of the more mature, like slowcore, like intimate records. There's a full band here, but it almost doesn't feel like it. Just feels they thrive in like this intimacy. Anoni themselves created a project before, I can't remember what year it came out, but it did diddly all for me. So I wasn't expecting too much with this record, to be honest, but I just saw it got praised through different publications. And yeah, the songwriting, the poetry, the poignancy of just certain, like lingering on certain moments or just hooks, and writing them instrumentally just in a kind of this, I don't know, very mature fashion. It really, really stuck with me every time I go back. And honestly, most of the record is just pretty clean cut good. And then we're going to go to the opposite side of the spectrum with MS Paint's Post American, talk about slowcore. Now we got like some hardcore, almost like alternative punk with like some synths thrown in. This is just very aggro, fun, aggressive. The hooks just kind of stick with me. Every song just has its own juicy little punch to it. There's nothing, I think, lyrically that's that poignant here, but it's just fun. And I think that's all I need to say about it. This is like, I love just a simple, straightforward to the point, fun, hyper. It's not hyper pop, right? It's aggro. It's aggro. That's what I'll say. Next is Grog by Frog. I think this is a New York band. This is one I got from recommendations, and I started listening to later in the year. And what a name, by a frog making grog. This is like the meme indie project of the year. Kind of hits, it feels a bit dirty. This album feels definitely a little bit dirty. There's songs about 420. There's like these just catchy, clappy, blues rocky riffs, some more intimate acoustic stuff. It's a little like dirty country, maybe some flavors in there, but it's fun. It's just super fun. Another just super fun project with just songs that catch a different feel. And at unlucky number 13, Dear God, praise the Lord who choose, but which does not consume. Come on, Yves Tumor. Yves Tumor. What can be said and has been said lately about anyone about Yves Tumor? Been one of the most consistent album creators of quality in recent years, ever since they kind of come onto the scene with like their eerie, at times ambient and harsh debut record. And now we're at this point where we're riding in this like weird punky glam rock stage of Yves Tumor, and I really like it. I really enjoy it. A lot of fun poppy like hooks that still fit in the mold of Yves Tumor's identity and their sound and their atmosphere, and a lot of great imagery to each song on this record. Fun titles like the name of the record itself. That's kind of what Yves Tumor has grown into be, and definitely a super fun artist to catch live. A lot of dark but still fun energy to their projects. Speaking of dark, we can dive deeper all the way to hell with Hell Mode by Jeff Rosenstock, the king of punk rock. No one, I think, is actually more consistent than Jeff Rosenstock and the genre that he lives in specifically. And man, this album is just front loaded with just some of my favorite songs on the year. I don't know how he consistently delivers some of the punchiest, just fun hooks on some of the most earnest, sincere tracks as well. He knows he writes such a good balance on just these bittersweet emotional points, and then just like the mosh pit energy flying high of just like a really great hook. And he's got a lot of staying power in his writing. All of his albums are so great to call back to and just see what kind of emotional stage he was at and going through. And I don't think anything is different with Hell Mode. I'd say maybe a little less intriguing to some parts on some tracks for me at the end, but the front load of this record was so strong and just the overall experience so great that I just could not include Jeff Rosenstock. And I can't keep using the word consistency for everybody and everything, but come on. Arm & Hammer's We Buy Diabetic Test Strips. Arm & Hammer, consistent, and featuring Elucid and Billy Woods, one of the most consistent artists that rides in the abstract conscious hip hop realm. Listen, Arm & Hammer have been top notch for me as a group in the hip hop space. It's kind of funny because I always listen to every one of their projects in the background a bit because I know I generally am not gonna like fuck with it that hard to start because it's in that conscious abstract realm, and they play, I mean, and then this one, it's a bit enigmatic, it's a bit like troublesome to figure out what the hell is going on, but it's so fun to dive into it lyrically. And I mean, these guys are just straight shooters and always have been. I mean, Billy Woods is kind of like that, and almost like Protomar, like I'm describing to agree, like getting prolific and rides this kind of same just middle ground, stagnant, like deadpan realm, but just spits so many satisfying bars and paints such a descriptive atmosphere. You're in the Billy Woods universe basically with all of his records, and it's just so fun to be a part of. Like the beats are never anything too bombastic, but maybe they're a little bit quirky in that like East Coast industrial kind of space. And these two together just are so complementary. And this being honestly one of their best. I need to go through and kind of dissect what is my favorite one, but this has got to be up there. And at number 10, this might be a personal, well, it is a personal pick. These are all personal picks. What I'm talking about, Helena DeLange's Goodnight Summerland. What I'm trying to say is objectively, I don't know if this album is that good or up here, but it still captures my heart. One of my favorite just singer-songwriters to emerge in recent years, ever since I listened to her debut during COVID. And that album has still hit me in so many different ways. Very flavorful and melodic and a lot of great hooks. This one is a bit more somber. It has a bit more open space to it. There were some tracks, like a lot of these tracks on the first album, but this one is mostly a bit similar all around. It leaves a lot more space to it, but there's still so much beauty in the writing and the way Helena just sings, the way she paints a picture in each song and has consistently just solid fucking melodies on everything. Like it could be slow to oblivion, but I will still eat it all up every day. This is just my type of shit. She's just been my type of artist in recent years, and this is my type of record, and that's why it breaks the top 10. I would recommend it to a lot of people that love that more intimate singer-songwriter material. And man, just each song floats with ease and grace and hits a lot of just points of beauty that I can't even describe right now. Following up that, we got Vidrio by Titanic. This fucks. Titanic are this Mexico City duo with two artists I've never personally heard of. I now need to hear more of them and maybe check out their other material. But this is my shit. This is like avant-garde, classical, like chamber jazz, which is a lot of different elements to it. And I also rides a bit of like an art poppy vibe at times. Sometimes it's catchy. Sometimes it's riding in that more jazzy, just kind of sporadic feel to it, or is very at ease with itself. I mean, just take, for instance, like the last minute of the last song on this record is why I love music. I mean, that sequencing of full instrumentation after not kind of having that for a lot of the album just kind of blew me away to finish the record. This is something that I think, yeah, I don't know, people who love like that, this new upcoming age of artists that are classically trained in strings a lot of the time or piano and then come through with just like nuances, which is avant-garde like takes on that classical music and shape shifting it to a different degree. Like that's what this album is and does, and it's something why I love artists like Julia Holter so goddamn much. Is the way they do it. I again, a lot of the foreign records I haven't checked into lyrically what a lot of them are about, but a lot of the times it doesn't matter because you're just emotionally in tune to what they're portraying through just the instrumentation itself, and that's all you need to know, and that's all you need to love. And I just appreciate this project so much. Really looking forward to if this duo continues, or even if these artists are doing stuff themselves, which I have to be honest with myself and check these things out, look into it. I'm super excited to what they do in the future. And man, following up, we got another foreign artist with Sofia Cortez with Madres. Where are my deep house stands? Please stand up. I think most of them would agree, or a lot of them. I don't want to speak. I don't want to speak for the deep house stands. Would say this album is up there for them on here, and I think this is a debut. Again, I didn't keep up with information as much this year, but if that's the case, what a fucking debut. I mean, from a Peruvian artist, I believe. Hopefully I'm not wrong there, but this has got that just standard deep house aspect of just melodically fun and a bit varied, and it has that Latin-esque feel to a lot of these tracks too, which I've been enjoying. I feel like in the last like 5+ years I've just been soaking up more just Latin inspired music, and it's really been touching me for some reason. And this one just has personality and charm, and it's fun when Sophia kind of just lets the music speak for herself, looping hypnotic just fucking vibes, or it's fun where she just pops on and it turns into has a little bit more melodic like pop momentum to it. And either way or direction she goes in the future, I'm here for it. I haven't seen her live, but I would kill to see something like this, like set wise, with just fucking beer in hand and just doing a little bit of this. I'm just like, yeah, this fucks. And at number 7, we got Sampha. We waited 15 million years and we got this record. It could have sucked and I still would have put it on here, okay? No, but really, like, this is just Sampha vibing. Like, it's a bit different than the first album, which had a lot of sick production, which had these poignant staying powers that pulled on your emotional strings. This album just seems to vibe and still hit these just uplifting, beautiful moments with just, again, so much just fun in the production realm, and just like that UK bass inspiration and stuff like that. Is just a lot of things are shifting all the time, and which just it's so cool when someone's so clean in the vocals of Sampha, and then like his voice can get all throughout on a song, can ride such like crazy different beats almost. It's that combination is just so fun, and like the front half of this album is so loaded with just such cool moments. I'm always so amped to kind of start this album and just like this band, like you have that while you got shit happening on the underground. It's just the mixture, the layering, the writing. It's just so fun, and I don't know. I think it's gonna be hard for Sampha to make like a bad project, and like honestly, a project that wouldn't be ever in my like top 50 if like he consistently does this kind of mold in the way he makes a record. And you know, I'm fine waiting 15 years for an album if it's just always good, and like if it's this decently good, I'm fine waiting. I'm a patient man. It hasn't been 15 years, but you know, in dog years maybe. And number 6, another artist that holds a soft place in my heart, that is Christian Hayter with Saved, as Reverend Christian Michael Hayter. She is now done with the persona of Lingua Ignota, fairly so, as if you do not know, a lot of that music involved a lot of past tragedies that happened to her as an individual, and it kind of seemed as like a spark and a fire against all of that. And like, with that trauma, she's trying to leave that behind and move on to something else. And I think even moving on to something else now, not that she needs to always pull from trauma. That music never has to be about pulling from trauma to ever be good to any degree. Because this might have trauma with just her background and growing up religious, but this is a very religious focused record. A lot of her past records have a lot of religious influence as well, and this one's just, it's so cool. It's based on like Christian, like classical, like hymns and things like that. I'm not that well educated and know all much about just the past of like Catholicism or Christianity or anything like that, but you just can understand those vibes right away. And you can almost, it's almost like she plays both sides of like wanting to feel fully ingrained into that community environment and understanding of those people's lives and the way they perceive things, while also playing the other side of it and kind of seeing the absurdity of all. Lyrically, that's just what I get a hint at. Like there's almost an absurdity to the way these people like treat certain actions, and how things are, so absolute, like we're all going to hell or something like that. So it seems like partially feels about community while also being just like critical of just a lot of religious aspects. And I don't know. I don't necessarily know which side it favors or if it is supposed to be both, but thematically it's really fun because she plays into those hymns so well. They're almost like exactly like how a Christian hymn would play out, but in just a more fun, unique, and Christian hater type of way. And the album starts off with like the recordings, dropping in and out as if it's like on a tape recorder or like a record skipping. And at first I kind of like hated it because when I was first listening, I kept thinking I was having like technical issues. Like, are my earphones working on my computer right now? But this is honestly as well just like one of the catchiest. They are hymns, and I guess they're supposed to be catchy to a degree, and like we all sing a lot. But it's almost making fun of that, but it's like still one of the catchiest things she's ever done. And I just love the atmosphere to this whole thing. And each song to me is still good. And I know some people don't like it as much as, of course, Lingua Ignota is just its whole different heavy kind of environment in and of itself. But this direction is still fun, cool, unique. You're not seeing any other artists do this type of thing, and I don't think anyone would do it better than Kristen right now. So absolutely love this project and look forward. I'm interested to see if she keeps up with this similarly kind of. I mean, her name, the artist's name speaks for itself, so maybe so. But maybe there'll be a new persona right around the corner. And at number 4, finally getting in the hyperpop feels as I get tired, we interrupt this program to bring you George Clanton's Ooh Rap-A-Ya. I forgot to read this off my list and only found out after editing this thing, and it is number 5, I believe. And yeah, George Clanton, the godfather of what seems like vaporwave and chillwave music, and 100% electronica man that puts on great fests and puts on great live shows, comes out with Ooh Rap-A-Ya, and leading up to it as like a couple of the biggest bangers of the year. I've Been Young and Justify Your Life I played on repeat just for what seems like months, and have to definitely be like 2 of my most played songs throughout the year. What's there to say about this? When the album came out, there was even more bangers and just a cool selection of just classic, ethereal, atmospheric music from George, very trip hoppy and psychedelic, and it was stuff you can kind of anticipate being a fan of his, but it's still fun to see what kind of mixture of things he comes out with next. I love the palette all around, and it's just a very, very cool record, easy on the ears, fun to get through, and I've no more better words to say about George Clanton. He's a great dude, great personality, and yeah, check out this project, please. Thank you. Sorry I forgot about you, George. I didn't mean it. Is Underscores with Wall Socket. Man, the color, the flavor, the fun, the songwriting, like this is, I'll be honest, I don't understand like 100 Gex new record at all. Like it's just not my thing. I get 100 Gex like their debut and everything, and they had some fun projects as well. New one, it just kind of felt not as much appealing to me because I just don't feel the writing there. You know where I feel the writing? You know where I feel good fucking songwriting while still being like fucking bombastic and fun and just balls to the wall, just like stupid at times as well. It's this Underscores project. And again, just something I'm so amped to listen to, especially I was gotten to listening to this while running. So fun. So fun. If you haven't ran to this album, please do so. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Just so many catchy hooks. When this thing is bubbly, when it's a bit crazy, quirky, it's fun. When it's intimate, when it's down low, hitting like these somber in the feels, like as if like you're this kid that just either got bullied or couldn't quite mesh with someone to some degree. I don't know. That just like hit me in the feels, and I don't know. A lot of personality. This thing just immediately kind of blew me away a little bit. I think this is so fun. Just one of the most fun records of the year, no doubt, and one of the most impressive. One of the more impressive ones, I think, from someone so young to kind of combine these fictitious moments with moments of just like reality into a total package. Yeah, good shit. Good shit Underscores. Props to you here. And with that is the return of the king at number 3, Billy Woods, with the guy Kenny Siegel with Maps. Okay, compared to Arm & Hammer, I mean, let me just say, Billy Woods, again, we knew he was going to be mentioned. Again, this guy's on top of the world with everything he does. He should be pushed to the top of the world and should get more praise, honestly. I think the Arm & Hammer just fell out of the top 10, but almost have two of my top 10 records on here. I mean, again, wasn't as involved in hip hop this year, but this thing slaps. This is if the Arm & Hammer project was a bit enigmatic and a bit tricky to catch on to at points and follow, and needed some time left over in the steam shower to kind of get the juices flowing within you, this one just kind of rips. Outside, I'm being a bit hypocritical here because on the first listen, I'll be honest, people were praising this already, and I listened to it once. I was like, I mean, it seems good, but and then I threw it away for like a couple months or something and came back, and I was like, what the hell? Like, why? I think I was just involved in something else, listening to the background, wasn't paying attention. But still, like, I wondered why, because Kenny Siegel brings some of my favorite just beats Billy Woods has ever. This is my favorite project, I think, I've ever had Billy Woods on, and then definitely Kenny Siegel. It's easy to connect to. Just about the touring and traveling aspect. I mean, and they make this orange color work on the cover art. I mean, come on. I mean, to make that color of orange work, I think is a success story when in and of itself. And I mean, I'm losing myself here. I'm tired. I don't know what else to say. This is just the most accessible and just standard outright good goddamn project with Billy Woods at the fore. And again, a lot of great features, and they all are so complimentary. Again, with both those projects, he's on so many great features, and yeah, just my favorite hip hop record of the year. I actually just want to, after this, listen to it again and just smoke a bowl. And big fan of the just East Coast style in general, and I think this caters to it all. It caters to it all. It makes me feel like I'm loving an MF Doom project over again, which is fun. Which is fun to have those type of feelings for sure. All right, everybody, we're getting to number 2. This has been fun. I haven't really relayed this information to anybody, so this is some insider secrets between you and me. At number 2, I knew almost instantly was going to be in my top 3 when I listened to it for the year for the first time, and that is Soft Scars by Yule. I knew nothing. I knew absolutely nothing about Yule, and this album blew me away. This has got to be like a newcomer artist for me that just blew me away instantly. The East Asian influence in like the pop infused into like this futuristic sound of like noise, of like dream pop is just Oh my god, so fun. Like sometimes it feels bubbly, poppy. Sometimes the production's like harsh, but like and a bit gritty. But Yule's always like this soft, romantic presence over everything. I know soft scars though, referring to a lot of trauma, but feels so bittersweet at the same time, and just the way it comes off. I mean, how could you not feel that way? The sound and styling, it feels so inspirational at times, honestly. And I just want to fall in love with like a fembot at this point listening to this thing again. I just think this is just like the future of just pop music that I just so want to fall in love with, and I wish everyone would want to fall in love with. Every song just hits for me melodically, writing wise, so fun, so fresh. I love when something comes off this good and feels so fresh to me. And Yule, what can I say? I don't know. I don't know. I'll leave it at that. Ladies and gentlemen, we made it. Number one, something I did not expect when coming into this record. This is by a group that has not really made a project all the way love. They've made projects I like, have made songs I love, but I did not expect to come to this and think at the end of the day this would be my top album of the year. And I got to give them credit. They really stole my heart away with this thing. I don't think a lot of people will agree with me at all, and I don't give a shit. But the Lemon Twigs with Everything Harmony. Boo, boo, what a terrible pick. Oh man, this thing just, it's the Lemon Twigs in the same style as like a Foxygen, and those guys play together all the goddamn time, know each other well. They're playing to like the old 60s, 70s classical, like soft rock, sunshine pop, Bowie, huge inspiration, shit like that. We all know it. We all know it's taking from that. Some people be like, this is a blatant ripoff of this, and this. I highly disagree. I mean, let's be real, guys. This isn't like Greta Van Fleet, a one for one, just bad ripoff of a band in the past. They're taking all the best elements of like some of your favorite records, pick a couple of tracks, and like one of your favorite tracks from each song, formulating a thing of their own, layering just piece by piece, just some solid goddamn music. It's fundamentally my favorite record of the year. Just all the best elements of soft rock, of sunshine pop, just that classic era. Like a song's either warm, acousticy, and just hits you in the feels, or just has a solid goddamn hook. And like lyrically, it doesn't have to be the most complicated. It was never that complicated in the past, and then a lot of those songs still rip, and these songs rip here. In my head, they could have been singing "There Are Ghosts Under My Bed," and I would still be like, yeah, that slaps. A lot of great hooks on here. I mean, there's a song literally called "Every Day is the Worst Day of My Life," and that's all that's said. And that is one of my favorite hooks of the whole album. It's just like a cheery, like happy-go-lucky, just rendition of just, "Every day is the worst day of my life." Just something so sour and pessimistic, but delivered with such like an optimistic attitude almost. I just have fun singing along with like a smile on my face. And I was listening to that on New Year's, and I just fucking love that song. And what happens to there's so many good shit. There's so much good shit that just is a revival of that time period. And I feel like the Lemon Twigs have captured that in the past, but to just like a mid-height degree, I don't know what that means, but just not to a level like this. This is just a whole new level for the Lemon Twigs, where just everything sticks. Super sticky, is super airtight. It even got to the point near the end of the record where I almost felt like it was like a holiday record at time. And yeah, Everything Harmony is my favorite project of the year. It harmonizes, honestly, so well, has great fluidity from track to track, a lot of bangers, a lot of good energy, feel good, very feel good project. And I just had a feeling when I listened to this thing that it was gonna reach some heights for me that I just didn't expect. And yeah, this is my list again. These are my picks, and super not concrete at all. Again, I haven't listened to as many I've listened to a decent amount of records, of course, but I haven't listened to as much as I have to in years past, and there's so much I haven't touched upon, so much that I've seen on other people's lists that I almost wanted to listen to before this thing, but that feels a little disingenuous. A couple stuck in there that I just couldn't avoid listening to. But yeah, that's my list. Please share yours below in the comments, or send me somehow your favorites of the year. Thank you so much for watching. And with this, again, I hope to be back in this year with some more videos to come. And shout out to 2024. 2023, you're decent. I liked you. I gave you a list of albums. 2024, though, I'm expecting a lot out of you. You're going to be the bigger brother. You have higher standards. And let's go. Peace out, and thank you so much for watching.